Good morning, everyone. You are here for one of my absolute favorite trainings to offer to anyone, and this is Clean Up an Aisle1 Google Drive. And I even invited like my team to come to this, and I'll tell you what, I think they were all scared of me when I told them, listen, I've seen your Google Drives, you all need to be here, right? But unfortunately, they had other commitments. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bond, Virginia Bond, Bond Lake James, Virginia Lake the state. I am a training specialist too with NERIC, and I am based out of Malone, New York. So I'm an hour north of Lake Placid. That being said, I'm in the Albany region, like almost 2 full weeks a month. Although I'm hitting a record in the month of August, I am home for 2 full weeks. Never happens. So it's very exciting. I at least get to enjoy, I get to enjoy Fair Week. Trust me, I'd rather be in Albany this week because the fair's in town and that's just a hot, crazy mess. Hi, Laura. So just one of those things. I wish I could be somewhere else next week because it's going to be craziness, run amok. I'm going to try to find my chat again if I can. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. So, let's get going. And we'll kind of talk about how and why this came about. So let me give you an overview of what happened. Back in 2020, remember that year? Some of you who were teaching absolutely do. I looked at my Google Drive one day and I went, for the love of God, what in AT double toothpicks is this? Because I couldn't find anything. I didn't know where anything was. So what I did is I took like a day and I dug in and I just started to clean it. And my brain said, ooh, wait a minute. If you, who are really quite good at file management, have a problem with this, I can bet that lots of other people do. So what I did is I kind of created a training based around that concept of cleaning up your drive, how to go about it, what it looks like, and how to accomplish that fact. Now, I have offered this training. I think I did it for 3 summers in a row. I took it off last year because I didn't think anybody needed it. And wow, didn't I get a lot of requests to offer it again? And I was like, okay, all right. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to look at the past. We're going to talk about, this is like the Scrooge training of Google Drive, the past, present, and the future. Like what doesn't work and what do you personally struggle with? And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to show the good, bad, and the ugly because I also have these problems. So it's not like I'm better than all of you. I'm not. I just have picked up some better habits along the way. Then we're going to talk about the present, like how to go about cleaning up your drive and some tips and tricks to do that. And then the future, like how to improve for next year. By the way, I made this handy dandy. Some of you know how I made this. I made this using Gemini, using the new avatar feature. This is what I look like last Monday. This is the outfit I wore. And if you go in with your cell phone and you open up Gemini, you can open up, I think right now it works on personal and domain accounts. And you open up Gemini and you click the avatar. You can set up your own avatar. It asks you a couple questions. It asks you to say a couple things, right? Like a couple numbers, 98 being the number I remember, 61, 24, no 67s, by the way, none of that. So you go through and you say some numbers and then you turn your head from side to side. And it's basically, it's taking a video of you so that it can get you from all angles. Those were the glasses I was wearing that day, the dress, the earrings, that is my tattoo. So it's very strange, right? But then you can take that into Gemini and you can create images of you doing things in like realistic fashion. So I kind of I really like that. So I made a whole bunch the other day, and you can reuse that avatar over and over again. If you really want to learn how to do that, I'm going to do that next week on Tuesday. Not like selling a training or anything, but it's kind of fun to learn those things too. All right, so let's start with the past. This is where it gets down dirty and ugly. So I'm going to show you just the layout of Google Drive. Now, I believe that everyone is pretty used to this. I'm going to use, by the way, you're not only going to see my personal drive, I'm going to show you my NERIC drive. Okay? So Trish, I just saw, she knows that like my NERIC drive is not as pretty as others. It's not as bad as it's been in the past because I clean in July. So July, I set a date to clean pretty hard. I'm harsh about cleaning. So this is not so bad, but let's just talk layout in general. You have a left side panel. You have a search bar that is attached to a advanced search. We're going to come back to that in a minute. You have a few things here. You have hopefully folders on the top, files on the bottom. If not, we'll talk about why you must, not why you should, but you must. We have a few features up here like support, settings, studio. If you have embedded Gemini, the drive, your avatar, you have a right side panel. You have list versus grid. Grid is always better. And the information space. Okay, so that's the big ones. So let's start with the first things first. Oh no, it isn't first. Yeah, it is first now because I just moved it. Because first things first, you need to disable the home on your Google Drive. Now, if you have no clue what I'm talking about, if you log in every time and you come here first, that's a no, 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 no. Because you know what? Nobody needs to be suggested anything. If you've come to Google Drive, you know what you are coming for. And because of that, we want to disable this space. So here's how to do that. You would come into your settings across the top, and I encourage you to drive along with me and to go into settings. And if the start page is the home, you're just going to shift it over to my drive. The home is a space of suggested files and suggested folders. Google is good at a lot of things. Suggesting files and folders to us is not anything we need because we have other things that we can use to replace that, like recent. We also should turn on workspaces. Now, this might not be available to everyone, but if it is, turn it on. And you can notice, you can go all the way down to the bottom. You can do other things. You can have light, dark, or device default. I like light on my NERIC account. You can choose a density. Comfortable is bigger. I probably need to go to comfortable because, or at least to cozy. So I'm going to change it a little bit. Comfortable is the most space. Compact is the, just like it sounds, compact, pushes them the most together. How do you want to open a new, how do you want to open a PDF? Do you want to have a new tab or do you want to have a preview? This is my personal thought. I always want to go into a preview, uploads. You should have offline checked. You can tell that I don't have that checked in this account because it's already checked in another account. But so it can't even because my default account has it checked. This allows you to work in Google without having Wi-Fi. Okay, really important for kids. It's great if you're going to fly or if you're going to go on a train because it allows you to do work. And then the minute you hit Wi-Fi again, it will allow things to upload. So if you want to create a new document, you kind of can do all of those things pretty easily. Do you want preview cards, sounds, all of the things? And the way to get out is just hit the settings bar out. And then every time you log into Google Drive, it will automatically take you to your drive. And of course, I think I changed my back to the other way. So hold on, I got to change it because I don't want home. No, I definitely want drive. It's just got a mind of its own, right? So We always want Drive to be where we land first. That is going to be one of the first things. Okay, next, let's just do a quick review of vocabulary. Okay, the waffle. Do we all know where the waffle sits? Top right-hand corner. We all know what the waffle is. 3x3 array in the top corner. It only exists in a few places: Mail, Drive, and an empty tab or a blank tab. I'm not a huge user of the waffle, basically because I just direct myself in, but just a couple caveats in here. You used to be able to just direct move your stuff all around. They've changed it a little bit. You should have a pencil, right? You should have a pencil. And if your account looks like this with your picture that says account in the top, please just move that to the bottom, because you can always get to your account over here or up here. You don't need that circle to get to it. So it's taking up space. And bring the most popular things that you use all the time up into that space. You can see this is set up in like teacher format: classroom, calendar, Drive, docs, keep, Gemini. You can see the stuff I use the most, right? I have them all up there. So when you're done, you just click done. You have the ability to drag those things around. You still see that your list is complete for whatever your district gives you access to is in there, including if you come down to the bottom, you should also see like your third-party apps that you have linked in. So like we have Cami, Hapara, I have Adobe, and Canva also linked in there. Some of those things are driven by your Google admin. Okay, so just know that. Sometimes you can easily put them in there. Sometimes you can't. I will bet that you can. But those are what I have in there. But you can move things around. So waffle. Sidebar. You got two sidebars. You got a left sidebar. You got the big sidebar down the side. You got the taskbar. And then if I actually open up Gemini, well, in Google Drive, it's a little different. It's like, yeah. So we'll just pretend I didn't do that one because I've done that before in the past, right? Most embedded Gemini will open on the side. Google Drive has a mind of its own, so it just kind of opens up like its own page so you can do work in there. Okay, next one, the right click. Really, really important. And why is that? Because I know Nicole and Stephanie can say it, because all good things are a right click away, right? All good things are a right click away. You always have options available to you via a right click, and it's like right click anywhere. Now, I say that there's other places to get many of those options within your Drive. There's New, there's My Drive, and then there's like the right click. I'm a girl of the right click. Oh, Laura, you're killing me. She brought a dog to the table. I love it. Oh, sorry, pets just make me happy. Pets and kids, bring your kids. I like them too. Right? Okay. So I like to use the right click because it's quicker. I'm all about quicker. I want things to be easier and quicker. So I tend to use a right click more than anything else. Next one, grid versus list. You will never ever be able to convince me that list is better than grid. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. This view sucks. Okay. End of story. Why? Because it's limited in what you can see, right? I gotta scroll. Girl, I ain't got time to scroll. I ain't got time to scroll for nothing. So I'm always going to use grid view. Okay. Here's why. Business in the front, party in the back. Okay. Business on the top, party on the bottom. And when I say party, I mean homeless files. Your homeless files sit down there. Now you'll notice that I don't have many because it's August. July I had lots, right? But I am such a creature of habit. My file tells me in July it's time to clean my Google Drives. So I do it when I have to. Okay. Otherwise I won't do it. So I know who I am. Viewing preferences. What are those things? Viewing preferences are these. They used to be over here. They're now over here. These are your viewing preferences. Name, date modified by me, date opened by me. A to Z, Z to A, folders on the top. Oh, this makes me upset. Mixed with the files. Ew, 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 ew. But you can do it. I mean, if you want to, it looks like this. What? What? Everything's in alphabetical order. Girl does not like that. I want my folders on the top, right? Because I know the difference between what I'm looking at. Okay. So all of those things. I'll be brutally honest. I see no reason to use date modified by me, or opened by me. Date modified is recent. Date modified by me is recent. Date opened by me is recent. You see what I mean? I got a place for all of those things. I'll just go there when I need them. Okay? Name, always the right way. It's typically also why all of my past Microsoft users like to have list view, right? The only thing that you will gain in list view is this. You will get the date modified, but I'm going to teach you a whole nother way. The last thing on my vocabulary is using what they call the details button. So it has an I call it the info space, the information space. And here's why. When I click on it, it opens something. We see nothing in here, but let me look at this folder, this file right here. When I click on the file, it gives me the details of who has access, and I can manage that right there. It also gives me the details of like when I created it versus when I opened it, versus when I modified it. Oh, excuse me. That's all of those little things right here, right? All of them. So you can see why I say those are like moot points for me. I just want name, and I want them from A to Z. So that's the arrow up. I also can see the activity. So when I can come in here, I can see the last time I edited a document. Oh, I don't have to go in version history to do that. I can also see if I have approvals set up. We don't use approvals here, but if you are a district that uses it, this is so nice, one-stop shop without having to go into the file or the folder. So let me go right back. Let me show you the difference. Here's a file, it has activity. Here's a folder. It doesn't have I told you, approvals. You can't approve a folder, right? So you only get details and activity. So, but I can see, is it private to me? So if I wanted to say, oh, this is the time that I'm going to give Trish McLean access to this because she really wants to see my crochet patterns that are stuck in there, right? This is how I could do it. I could do it right in there. It's an easy way to find who has access to the things in your folder. So let's take this one right here. Here's a New York State Standards. And I can see who I've shared it with. I've shared this one with Chris Kitchen. So maybe I want to change that. Maybe I want to manage the access. And I've decided it's time to share this with myself, right? I'm going to share this to my Gmail account. I'm going to give myself editor rights to it, right? I'm going to share anyway. I know me. It's okay. So everything to the left of the right line is the owner. Everything to the right of the line is who you have granted access to. Again, you can see when you created the folder, when you last modified it, that includes changing somebody's access. Super easy way to be able to go through and look at those things. So that is all the vocabulary we are going to do. And now we're going to talk about the big parts of Drive. Some of you have been through this with me, but I'm going to walk through it anyway. My Drive. Say mine. Say it again. Say mine, mine, mine. I can't hear you all, but I love it in my head because I can hear it in my head. That's your own stuff. It's the stuff that you've created or that you have stolen, aka collected from other people. Little note, I have a collected folder in both of my drives. This is my personal account. I have a collected folder. You notice I don't call it the stolen folder. I should. But it's a collected folder, sounds much more PC, right? So that's the first thing. That's my drive. The next thing we have is the shared drive. So I am talking about a domain. So I am talking like in a school account, here's shared drives. ours. This is ours, okay? My drive is mine. Share drive is ours. We all own it collectively. I will show you an example of this. This is the instructional team that I sit on. There are 11 people in here, okay? We all own this collectively, every one of us. Now we have different levels of access, and I will show you. There are different levels. I'm the manager, AKA I'm the queen. I created this space. I'm in control of who's in it and who has what level of access. So for me, I have the most access. Then I can make decisions from there on who gets what. So it's different than sharing a folder. These are drives that you share with people that you seriously trust. Now, districts do this differently. Some districts only allow the Google admin to set these up. I personally think that's a dumb decision. Okay, sorry, it is what it is. But I get it because, you know, everybody and their brother have a nose blowing shared drive, right? It is what it is. But there are times when you need them. There should always be a shared drive at a building level. That makes sense. And there should be shared levels at grade levels and there are shared drives, excuse me, and shared drives at departments. And I'm going to have one more. Your district secretaries should have a shared drive. They share so many stinking files. It's ridiculous, right? But what I was saying is everyone is an owner in here. Now that's good, bad, or ugly. Sometimes can be ugly. My boss decided to come in here and start throwing out files. And I almost cut her head off, okay? Nothing personal, she just didn't know not to do that. But there might be things in there. So now what I've done, what I did when that happened, I'm gonna be brutally honest, she lost some of her permissions. She became a contributor because contributors can only add, edit, and share. They can't delete or move, right? So yeah, that was me being a jerk, right? You got to earn your rights back, right? So what I did do in here is I create an old folder and we move our files in here as we think we don't need them anymore. We just move them over and we keep an old file in a shared drive. Keep that thought in mind. It's a helpful thing you may need later on. Okay, so my drive is mine. Shared drive is ours. Shared with me is yours. It's all of your crap. It's all of the stuff that you send to me that you think I need to have access to, that I honestly, even here as I look at it, it makes me so anxious. I hate it. My drive is mine. Shared drive is ours. Shared with me is yours. I will never, ever, ever go in my shared drive. I'll show you my hack around it. I always just look for things up here because I can't organize it in any way and it drives me crazy. So because of that, I don't use it. And I'll be honest, I share a lot of documents from myself to other people, right? And it's in there, but I still don't like it because it's just too messy. Because my friends, I'm a control freak. I got no problem with that. I'm honest about it, right? I know my limitations. This is one of them. The other place is workspaces. So this is the plus one. And this is why I told you when we went into settings, we want to turn that on. Now, most people don't even know this exists or they can't get to it. You have the ability to use 8 workspaces, 8 and only 8. You can't make more. Bummer, because I would like a lot more. But what you can do, a workspace will hold these kinds of documents. It'll hold a My Drive document, it'll hold a shared drive document, and it'll hold a shared with me document. Oh, that's the easiest way to do it without creating shortcuts because shortcuts are messy. And I just think they should be banned outright. I hate them all in Google Drive because they make things messy and people don't know where they're going to get things. So instead, you can use this workspace and build yourself like almost like you're a digital Post-it with all of the things. Like this is a shared document. This is my document. This is in our this is in shared drive. This is in my own drive, and this is also in a shared with me folder. So it's got 3 different instances, and they're all in here. All they are. So if I click on this, it is just a shortcut to the document. So what you're creating is a list of your shortcuts within a workspace. So think about it this way. If you have 3 preps that you teach during the day, build 3 of them. Okay? 1 for physics, 1 for chemistry, and 1 for biology. Oh, good Lord. If you're in this training, you scare me, but Jesus. Okay? Just saying. But some of you, others of you that are admins, you could have them like district level documents, meeting documents, grade level documents, right? You can have those like that. So you can have kind of a different focus. So these are easy. You can have 8 workspaces. They hold 25 documents. Easy to take documents in and out. So look at, I can just, I can remove from the workspace. I know what I was doing, right? So I don't need this one anymore. These are both old. I can remove this from the workspace, and then to add one, like if I go into the workspace like this, all I have to do is add a file, and I would just look for my other file that I wanted to add in. So I want that one because that's the one that goes in there. That's the one I use all the time, right? So updating old, pushing in new, right? Taking the old out, pushing in the new. It's very easy. I use these a lot. This is an iReady Post-it that when I have lots of things that I'm doing for people, this is what I put in there. I put in the latest and greatest things that I need. Like, I don't need this one anymore, right? I have some new files that I need to have in there. That's what I put in. So it's just easy. It's an easy way to do this and to keep yourself organized. So that is the 3+1 parts of Google Drive. Next one. Here's your basic skills you need to have in Drive. Now, I'm saying this for you, and I'm saying this for your students as well. So let me stop you right here. The whole issue with Google Drive is that it holds everything. It holds everything. It holds any document you put in it. It holds notebook files. It holds Photoshop files. It holds MP3s, MP4s, CSV files. It holds anything. Doesn't open everything. And the issue with Google Drive is you must be a good file manager. Now, if you are my old boss and you have a pile of papers on the back table behind her and you never pick them up, you are not a good file manager. This is about file management and learning how to do it the right way. So hopefully not ticking anybody off at this point, but that's reality. Let me tell you who's really bad at it. You might be bad at it, but your kids suck at it. All of them are terrible at it. They have untitled documents. They have stuff just out there. They don't know how to use a folder. So this list right here is not just for you. It is for them as well. You must teach your students how to file manage and time management. Those are the 2 life skills they need coming out of school. Everything else we can almost live without. Not really. We need some politeness and kindness and things like that, but these are 2 really big skills that are transferable that they need. So here's what they are. You must know how to create new folders and put folders within folders. Remember what I told you before? You can use, I'm not going to click all of them because I know you can do it. You can click the new, you can click the My Drive, and you can right click. They all have the same 3 menus, okay? Those are all ways to create folders. And when I say folders, you create the big root folder and then you put things in it, okay? That is a big folder. So those are your big things. That's the first thing. Adding colors to folders. Right click, organize. If you haven't done this lately, you can have a come to Jesus. Oh my God, thank goodness you finally did this because look, they finally gave us more than 8 colors. Yay! That makes me happy, right? I'm a happy girl. I like that. I've got certain things that have to be certain colors. So I am not a grayscale kind of girl. Can you tell? Too much color in my background, right? The nails are hot pink. I'm wearing full cheetah almost, right? No. Colors are important. Our eyeballs see colors faster than anything else, unless you happen to be colorblind and then you see a color, maybe not the right one, but it's fine. Colors help us see things quicker. Okay, next thing, just to blow your mind, make copies. How do you make copies? There's a difference between making a copy of a folder versus making copy of a document. If you right click here, right, can you just make a folder? Can you make a folder copy? No, right? Doesn't exist. You have to build a new copy. You have to build a new folder, put new things in it. What about files? Okay, if you're from the land of Outlook, or excuse me, Microsoft, if you're from the land of Outlook, oh my God, say it twice, Bond, because it makes it better the second time around. If you're from the land of Microsoft, save as was the option we loved. That's not an option anymore, right? It's not there. Like, so what you need to do is you make a copy and you rename the copy. Renaming renames the copy you're in. It doesn't give you a new one. Make a copy, rename it. So we're going to make a copy of this. We know that because I'm in my Google Drive, it's going to go into my Google Drive. I'm going to rename it like immediately. No, as my mother used to say, no passing go, no collecting $200. Immediately, just do it right then and there. And I'll tell you why when we get a little closer to it. Next one, sharing at the folder level. Oh my God, please share at the folder level over the file level. It's so much easier for you, right? Because if you share at the file level, you have to share every stinking file you put, right? If you share at the folder level, you only have to share once at the folder level. Everything in the folder, it is shared with those people at that level. Be careful, because some of you could have a Tim. God, I hope I don't have any Tims taking this class. No, I do. Sorry, Tim Allen. I'll find another name. You could have a Bob. Hope there's no Bobs. So you could have a Bob, and Bob could be a person who's not good with sharing. So if you give Bob share rights at like edit rights at the folder level, and he's a thrower outer, he could throw things out. So all you have to do is just give him view rights, right? He can only view what's in there. So just think about that level. Always use advanced searching. So we're going to spend some time in that and a little bit later. If you don't know what I'm speaking of, it's these 3 lines right here. We want to open the advanced search. We never want to just search here. We're going to use that in a few minutes. Next one, you want to click and drag files, because when I say clean things up, you all go into a tizzy. I know who you are. I get it. Okay, this document right here is old. I do not open it and move it. All I do is click and drag it to move it, because that's the reality of what my life is, right? I just click and drag things around because I'm going to put them. I know that those are all old, by the way. So I know I could absolutely click on a document like this and see when it was created and see where it goes, right? This was modified April 16th. So it could go in this folder, but I use this a lot. So that will stay outside my folders. We're going to keep going. Last one, checking the last time used, a circle I. We've already done that. It's really important that we just do that. So this is where we've gone through all the basics. So this is where we go to look at the past. Okay, so here we go. This is where we have our come to Jesus moments. Nothing like bearing your soul to your friends, right? Is this what your life looks like, right? I want you to see, hey, what one of these things does not belong? Come on. Somebody come off mute and tell me which one's in there that doesn't belong there. Yes, I'm still mourning the loss of it. What one? Yeah, the drowning person doesn't belong there. What app doesn't belong there?
Oh,
Jamboard. Thanks, Trisha. Right? Because I'm still mourning the loss of Jamboard 3 years later. I can't help it, right? It makes me so sad, right? So I too have these problems, right? This is what I look like, right? So let me take it, right? At the time, I only kept a few folders organized. That's what my Google Drive looked like, right? I knew that I needed to do better. I'm not saying this to you because I'm like trying to say, oh, you suck in every way. No, I suck too. I was so bad at this. And I just knew that I had to do better. So I started to take up what I call my cleaning habits, and I started to do some things to make my life better. So the first one is pick your default view. Which one do you like best? You've already heard this speech. Psst, grid is always better. Grid is always better. Will I navigate to a list when I need it? I will. Especially if I go into a folder like this one and I'm looking for something specifically, or if I go all the way into a file, like a folder, if I'm all the way in, I will go back there. By the way, do not back arrow out of this. Always just go back to the beginning of the breadcrumb and click on my drive to get back to where you were. Just a simple little tip to get you in a faster place. So that is the first thing. Grid is better. I'm sorry if that makes some of you just feel like, oh my God, woman, no. Trust me, it is. Trust me, it just is. There is no other options. This is where you start to lose your minds. Folders, more than 18 is too many. Okay, and what I'm saying, this is root folders directly within my drive. So I'm going to show you both of them. So here's my Google Drive. This is my personal account. This is where I train out of. This is where all my Google stuff sits for Google, right? I have more than 18 folders. So I have 1, 2, 3, 18 plus 5 is 23. But I have some brown folders. By the way, my stuff is all color coded, right? Here's why. My brown folders, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had 23, right? 23 folders. These don't count because these are created by third-party vendors. They're not my folders. They're created by vendors, right? They're created by third-party apps. So I use Brisk, my stuff goes into a Brisk bundle. I use Classroom, it goes into a Classroom folder. The brown is because it's somebody else's poop. You can put the other 4-letter word in there that you want to use. It's good. I'm not going to for training, right? It's somebody else's poop, not mine, but it's got to stay here because I'm going to use it. By the way, this is a new one saved from Chrome because I use this account with my phone. If I save anything from Chrome, they now create a folder that it goes into. I was like, oh, that's interesting that that's in there. I just made it brown. So I know not to take those out. So in actuality, I have 23 folders total. If I take out my 8 that are third party, I have 15. Personal account. This is my work account. Same exact concept, right? I have 3, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 16 in here. These are the big folders. And when I say that, I will show you one thing in here because do your folders have more than, yeah, I mean, I got folders on folders on folders on folders in a school year folder. You can see that, right? Super lots of them. So it's not like I just have just 15. These are the big root folders that sit outside just in your Google Drive. Think big, my friends. Think big, okay? Couple things you will notice. I have a school year folder, a 26-27, really important. I also have a bond folder. We'll come to the reason behind that, okay? So that was the past. So now let's look at the present. I'm gonna go in and show you what they are. So I hate to say this to you, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. If you decide to take on this parameter of cleaning, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And some days it's going to feel like chaos, but I'm going to give you some tips to kind of make it easier for yourself. All right. First things first, create a master folder for last year. Watch this. We're going to go in here and you will see that I have one. Here's my 25-26 folder. And I put ZZZ. You can use XX, YY, ZZ. Pushes it to the bottom of the list. Okay. Other thing I also do is in this year's folder, I have a star on it. It raises it to the top. Okay. I told you, I'm a control freak. I know what I like. I like to be in control of where my stuff sits. Okay. So my two folders that are forced to the top in here are my NERIC and my 26-27. And then forced to the bottom, I have the ZZ pluses, which I also have a ZZ past years over there. Okay. What do I put in this folder? So this is where it gets a little crazy. You're going to move everything from this year into it. So this is one of those times you open up your Google Drive, you put it into list view, you sort by the date. Okay. And I open the drive on the left-hand side like this by clicking that side arrow. And now we play the game of slide and move. I'm only going to move files. So I only have one left. Or here's a website change. I only have one left and I'm just going to put it in there. Just going to populate it over. You got a whole bunch. You're going to click on the first one. You're going to hold shift. You're going to click on the last one like this. It will, no, yep. And you can move them all over at one time. Okay. The purpose for this, move last year's stuff over. Then if you get through all your 25-26s, make yourself a 24-25. Make yourself a 23-24. You're not looking at things, you're just moving them out of the root of your drive. Okay, I call this the root of your drive. You want to have as few homeless files, aka they have not been put away, as possible. These are things I use pretty regularly. That's why they're there. So just keep that in mind. If you really want to like dig even deeper, you can use an advanced search, but honestly, looking at grid view makes it so much easier. By the way, this is a little video kind of walk you through how to do that. If you get past today and you're like, what in God's name is she talking about? That's what. Okay. What are those main folders you need? Think big. Okay. Here, we've already talked about this. Think big. Do not delete the following folders. If you have Screencastify, don't get rid of it. If you do, all your things are gone. WeVideo is the same way. If you delete that, your videos are gone. I think you can retrieve them back out. Do not, for the love of God, move that classroom folder. If you do, your Google Classroom does not work anymore. Got that? That's like, I can't say that enough. How many people have done that? Lots of people. They're like, oh, I just thought that was junk. Oh, it's not junk. It's there for a reason. Okay. Like Moat is another one of mine. If you use Cami, it's in there. It's a Cami folder. Now you can move stuff in and out of your Cami folder and put it where you want. That's fine. But I'm just saying that's where it stores it when it comes in. It creates, that's why you give permission for it to go to your Google Drive. It creates a folder to put the stuff in there. You can move it out and put it where you want it. If you absolutely can do that. This just is like, it's a little repository, so it only goes in there. So when I think big, I like to think about like, what do you need for administration? What do you need for documents? Here's the ones that I have. I will show you both of my drives. This is my drive that I have right now, my personal drive. I have a 26-27 at the top. I have a collected folder, and another non-negotiable for me is I keep a personal folder in each of my drives. The KVB Bond Personal has like all my certifications in there from Google. It also has like all my crochet patterns. Remember, it's a personal account, or my knitting patterns that I might have purchased. They sit in there just so I can have access to them because I don't print them, right? So if I go in here, right? This is what it looks like. Oh, so look, I have two just sitting here. There's a folder for my husband. There's some ISTE stuff. There's stuff I've made. I have photos in here. So you can see there's stuff in here. I've got printed music in here. Certs are in here. That's just the kind of stuff that I have in there, just so you know what's in there. In my work one, I have like my contract is in there. Anything else that I might need, like those weird things. Why is that important? Because it's basically, I call it the take and run. So this is weird. Oh, because I don't want date modified. It's the take the folder and run kind of thing. Like you're gonna leave in like 6 weeks. This is the folder that you want to grab and take with you for sure, if nothing else. And I think in here, just so we know, I keep goals in here. I have family in here. What else is in here that I thought the other day was a weird thing and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, I have health stuff in there. So I have that in my drive just because sometimes I get asked for bios when I'm doing RFPs. That sits in there, just stuff like that, right? So those are the ones that are non-negotiable. Everything else, you figure out, you do you, boo. What do you need? But those are ones that I figure are really non-negotiables. So then next, you start to downsize your list of folders. I like to tell people to like, just look at what you have and make a list and then just count them out, right? Okay, I really need these, right? Can I keep them bigger? Can I move stuff down? So then make your new folders first. Do not move the stuff from the old ones yet, right? Either use stars to keep the new ones towards the top or use an emoji. This always breaks people. So if I go here and I think, I'll tell you how to do that in just a minute. Those will put them at the top. Any kind of star or symbol will move them to the top. Make yourself an S2S folder. That's stuff to sort, really technical. S2S is just stuff you haven't gotten to, because the goal is to really get your Google Drive clean, because you know why? You'll feel better like you accomplished something right off the bat, because if you can get to that, that'll be helpful. Make your newly made folders, color code them, leave everything else gray. Let's look at mine. I don't have any gray folders. Oh, that's a kind of gray. I don't know what to do with this softer folder because I don't have any old ones anymore, right? So this is everything for me is color coded. Okay, let's now talk about if I wanted to take and put an emoji on this, all I need to do is rename it. So I'm not a huge emoji person, but I mean, it could be. On a laptop, it's the Windows plus the period, and you get all the little emojis in here, right? So you can find what you're looking for. There's tons of them, right? Find what makes you happy. I'll be honest, if colors aren't your thing, emojis are, right? Popcorn, because we're just a fun old time. And then it just puts it on there and you'll see it stays here in the list, but your other things will pop around. So that's on a laptop. On a Chromebook, it's the search plus the shift plus the space to get the emojis. If you're on a Mac, because I felt like being device agnostic this time, it's Control, Command, and the space bar all together. Your emoji goes first and then your text, okay? If you don't want to do that, you can use symbols. I always just use a star, but you can use $. You can use anything you really want, right? They all work. The @ symbol gets a little wonky. I wouldn't use that in a folder name just because so many things are read with the @ symbol. And then move you can use the XX, YY, or ZZ down so it pushes things to the bottom. Be ruthless. Get your folders the way you want them. I'm honest about that. Be ruthless. Okay. In my folders, I use numbers. So like in here, this is my numbers that I use right now. So you can see that I have all kinds of numbers set up. This is so they go in order. This is today's training. All I do when the training is over is I take the star off of it and I put it here and it falls back in line. This is also color coded. So that's helpful for me. Elementary teachers, you could number by month, right? Don't do September is 9 October is 10. Do them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They work better that way. And I'm saying that because when you get over 100, they start to do weird things. I know it's just strange. And I wish they didn't do that, but they honestly do. They start to do a weird renumbering thing. It's fine. Most of you won't get to 100. I always get to 150 or whatever, but that's an easier way to do that. And then use colors. I can't tell you enough to use colors. I mean, it works for me. Maybe you're not a color girl. I'm a color girl everywhere. Everything is color coded. I have, bukus of pens, every color, because everything has a color. Frontline's a color, Google's a color, Model Schools is a color. All my other things are color. It's crazy. I understand it, but color code your subjects in elementary, color code your class periods, use it for everything. Like use it for your Google Classroom, use it for the color of your folder, just use it. It makes life easier once you start to get used to it. By the way, how did I get into that? Somebody asked me that once. When I was teaching, I worked out of 2 classrooms. I had a lab that I taught out of and a music room. Do you know how many times what I needed was in the music room when it should have been in the lab, and vice versa? So back in the days of me using Microsoft, I put a border around my things. One of my rooms was stars and one of my rooms was polka dots. Polka dots went in the music room, stars went in the lab. I never screwed it up anymore. So that's how I got into color coding. I needed a symbol to help me manage my life. Okay, this is reality. This was me back in the day, and this was my NERIC drive. I had 24 folders, and now this is me now, right? I still looks like I still have 24 folders, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that are not mine, right? And it's much more organized. Things are still together. I still have some things that are close, right? But it's neater. It's a lot neater than I used to have it. Okay, now to work moving your homeless files. So, right, this is how I do it. I think about the workspace in the middle. I open the drive on the side and I open the eye and I just look and I brutally drag stuff around. Okay. If you don't feel like you can handle that, which is like, honestly, it's okay if you can't, make a new school year folder, make a folder for last year, put your stuff from last year in last year's folder, and then do an S folder, and that's the stuff to clean. Just drop the rest in there. Honestly, because then you start with like 3 base folders, and that's pretty good. You can make more from that, but that's a really good start. Now, you may have a district folder, you may have a department folder, you may have a grade level folder, all of the things work from there, right? So all you have to do is you click on the homeless file, you check the eye, you click and drag the folder, you click and drag it to the folder, or for the love of God, to the trash. How dare I say this? Here's why I say this, because you got to throw stuff out. I know you're going to hate me for this, but some of you are the keepers of the gin. Okay, my friend was a keeper of the gin. When we started teaching in 1889. Yeah, that's how old I feel. When we started teaching, Trish, shut up. When we started teaching in 89, there's a teacher who retired in 1990. And she had these old series and they were gin. They literally were the way that I was taught to teach. I was taught to read in the 70s. See Dick run, see Jane bike, see Dick run and Jane bike. That was literally the series, the gin. She kept them. She retired in 2025. Guess what she still had? She had the gin. Had she ever used the gin? No, she had never used the gin. She never needed it. But I dubbed her the keeper of the gin. Do not be the keeper of the gin. Because if it's older than 5 years old, my friends, you don't freaking need it. And Trish, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. If it's older than 3 years and it's Google related, you definitely don't need it because we can't use it anymore. Keep it as a reference, but anything older. If it's COVID, it's got to go. Just for your mental capacity, it's got to go. You don't need all those files. I know you don't like it when I say these things, but that's the reality. Okay. So this is brutally slow and mind-blurringly numb. But the trick is to set your phone for 10 to 15-minute increments. Don't be a Virginia and do 4 hours at a time. I can power through and do it. But I'll be honest, I still do it in 15-minute increments, and then I take a 5-minute break and I come back for another 15 minutes. I just set my phone and do it. What I do now is at the end of every month, the last Friday of every month, I have to do paperwork. I have to do end of the month paperwork. So I have to do I have to submit my mileage. I have to submit my travel. One of the things on that list is I clean my drive. Okay. It's in my 15 minutes. I do 15 minutes at the beginning of the last Friday of the month to do my travel and my mileage to get those done. And the last 15 minutes of the day, that's what I do. I clean my Google Drive. Because at that point, it only takes 15 minutes because it's clean. It usually takes less. So again, let me tell you, if you're unsure, make a folder of unsures or a subfolder in the S2S. Do I really need this? I don't know, right? Move it from the drive into the left side. So again, that's just another thing that helps. Got a gajillion shared with me documents? Don't go there. No. We're just not doing that, right? We just don't need to be there because honestly, it's just going to make you upset. Here's how to look to find it. We're going to go into our drive. We're going to go here. And if I really need things, I'm going to come to the owner and I'm just going to look them up. McLean, I don't think you've ever shared a thing with me, but we'll find out real fast. Gilderland schools.net. I'll remember.
Plain T though.
Oh, you're right. McLean T, right? It's the other way around. Yeah. It'll try to look for that. Maybe. Maybe she has, maybe she hasn't. We'll just search. Nothing. Okay? But you see how fast that was? I have no idea where that is. So let's do another person. We'll do myself because I share a lot of things with myself, right? I don't looked in shared with me. There they are. Boom. All there in order. Also, looking for something specific. If I'm looking for just the docs that Virginia shared with me, if you did not know that existed, that's your gift that goes beyond all things because it's the gift that keeps on giving. Look for things that way, right? It's so much better. So I'm just going to search, and here's all the documents I've shared with myself. These are thumbnails. They are all over the place. They're all over the place. Oh my God, it's so much easier to look at things this way than it is to do the other things. I also, by the way, I never, ever, and I mean that, go to an app home. I don't go to docs.google.com or slides.google.com or sheets. I just come to Drive because everything's in here. I don't really need to go to those places. They're repositories, but I don't need it. Okay, here's where I make you mad. Should I archive it or should I delete it? First of all, Drive does not have an archive, right? You can't have an archive. But Nicole, I'm just going to call Nicole out because I know Nicole is probably not going to throw out some of the things she knows she needs to keep because I've worked with her enough in the last couple months. I just know her. No shame. She can create an archive folder if it makes her upset to throw things out, but I would ZZ archive it. Okay. Does it go to the bottom of the list? Bottom of the list is stuff that's there. You can see it, but you don't have to be in it, right? You can push archive over there. Also, this is like upcoming retirement, right? Girl's going to do retirement at some point. There will be files as you use them throughout the year that may need to go into an upcoming retirement folder that might then be moved into a shared drive and or ownership changed. That's a big point. So keeper of the keys, secretaries. Trish, you know when this happens. Sometimes when secretaries leave, it can be, it's like, oh my God. And not every district gives you access to someone else's folders, right? That's the best thing to do. Put it into a shared drive, but move it as they're going. As you go throughout the year, oh, or just change the ownership the first time you're in it. So let's say like Melody, you're going to retire or you're going to leave district, right? That happens too. You're going to leave district. If you have a set of stuff you know you need to, all you need to do is go into the file and change the ownership to someone else, and then just make yourself an editor on it. You basically change the ownership and you get popped into editorship. You still have editor rights. It's just a really good thing. You don't want to be doing this in the last 2 weeks when you're trying to leave, because it becomes chaos. When I leave, NERIC's probably going to implode. Yep.
I have a question. So I will be one of those retiring in the next year or so. How, like, if I create a folder of all things that I want to keep, because I do know that once we retire, within a very limited amount of days, the district will
24.
turn off your access.
Usually 24 hours if you work at NERIC.
Yep, very limited. So there's obviously things that I want to keep. So I can put those into like a retirement folder. Is it easy to transfer that folder into a personal Gmail?
No.
Okay.
You can use Takeaway. So you can use Takeaway, which is an app that you can use. I will tell you that most districts have it turned off, so people can't have access to it.
Yep.
The easiest thing to do is to create a folder. You would just make I'm going to put this in here, and I will tell you the next time that Mike Dowdy sees my drive, he'll lose his ever living mind if I put a retirement folder here. So I'm going to do it anyway. Right? I put a retirement folder in there.
Yep.
When I'm all done with it, I download it, and then you can move it to another drive. Okay? You've got to download it to move it. And here's why, I mean, some people love Takeaway. And Trish, I don't know if you guys use that at Guilderland. It has its pluses and its minuses. Because when you do it, it literally takes everything in your drive, including your shared with me. I don't want that crap when I go.
You can select it now.
So
you can tell it what you want. So
Yes.
people like it, especially for Google Photos now.
Right. I don't keep my Google Photos are in my personal account. Yep. So just think about those things you want to get. It's a little easier what you want to grab. So that's a good point. Thanks, Trish. But if you don't have access to it, you may need to ask permission to use it, and it can be turned on just for you. So from your Google admin, Nicole, that'll be helpful. Build that folder ahead. It will help you as you move along. Okay. Am I going to use it? How old is it? If it's older than 5 years, it's got to go. Bye. Sorry, it's got to go. It just got to go. Is it old content? It's got to go. Like, if you're using quizzes information, doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, it does. It's Wayground. But, right? It's all been rebranded. Are you going to rebrand it? I'm laughing because I know some people, no, you're not. Just don't keep it. Can you download it as a PDF and keep it that way so you have a copy somewhere, but it doesn't need to sit in your drive? These are all the questions to ask yourself. Can the content be added to a weeklet or a Padlet for reference instead of saving it? You see what I'm saying here? Kind of those things. Those are all different things to think about it. Okay. You don't have an archive folder, but make yourself one. Just make an archive. Just make a ZZ archive, stick it in there. So now you'd have a S2S or stuff to sort and an archive folder. I just have an old folder, kind of like me. It's an old folder. It is what it is, but there's the reality, right? Remember, my friends, trash will self-delete in 30 days, or you can just be brave and do it, right? All of you are like, sweet Jesus, I can't do that, right? When I was cleaning the first time, I said I had a should it stay or should it go folder. That was its name, right? Because you know what, I like to have like song lyrics in I was a music teacher for a long time, so like that's why I have all those references, and so that's what I had. I had should it stay or should it go. After I didn't touch it for a year, guess where it went? Right in the garbage. And I don't let it self delete. I just do it myself. I literally go in and say, empty the trash now, because I am that brutal. Because if it's gone, it's gone. I'm also the girl who deleted all her bookmarks in December. Haven't missed one of them since I did it. Just did it. cold heart did it. And people are like, what? I'm like, just do it. It's so freeing. You look out, you got nothing in there. It's awesome, right? I am that person. All right, let's move into the future, my friends. Okay. So from henceforth, this is what we shall do. Okay, what do I use all the time? What do I use all the time? That is a star, right? So we're going to use the star section. Now, if you're like me and your star section starts to look like this, for the love of God, this doesn't even exist anymore. I need to go into this folder, open it up, and make it a non-starred folder. This is old. I don't need this, right? All I need to do is open them up and unclick the star. Now, I tried to do this the other day. I don't need it in there anymore, right? It's just not needed. I tried to unstar. Oh, right there. You can right click on it. I knew there was a way. Unorganized, remove from star. Anything that's old, I don't need to do this. By the way, why is this not done? Because this is on my August list. I cleaned my drive in July, and in August, I removed the old stuff from my starred list. So that's why it's in here. So I don't need this Amazon list, right? I just remove it from the starred. Starred can be yours, can be shared with me, and they can also be from a shared drive. They will all populate here. I don't need my 25, 26. For goodness sakes, Virginia, did you not clean it last year? Because I got my 24 and my 25 in here. I don't need either one, right? So just clean up your stars, right? But put a star on the stuff you're going to use. Like if you use a lesson plan sheet all the time, put a star on it. It goes right there. You can just go get it. You're going to create your 26, 27 folder. Now, if I build anything in a drive, I automatically open this folder and I build in here. I don't build willy-nilly. I just don't. Okay, just a little crazier than most. Build your grade level folders, build your section folders, build your big folders, color code by grade level, whatever you need. So here's my next one. It's time to learn some new habits. Sorry, this is where it gets hard. You need to make it, name it, put it away. So if I open a new tab, if I open a new tab, I gotta get my little share button out of the way. Sorry. Open a new tab and I just go to docs.new. Remember I told you I rarely go to the waffle to build anything. I always use the .new trick. It's my favorite, but the first thing I will always do is I will put a name on it. I've made it. I've named it. Right? Made it, named it. I don't type over here. I only type here. See that? I type here and I click here. That gives it the name. So it's less work to do. So I always know what it is. Next thing I always do, I always put a date on things. Why do I do that? It's because it would be nice if I knew when things were updated, because then you know what I don't have to open? I don't have to open the I ever, because I know when the last time I updated it was. All right. All right. Then I put it away. I click on the folder right next to the name and I put it where it belongs automatically. Even when I train, automatically. So Trish, Nicole, you can do a lot of training in the next new year. You're making files as you're flying. You make it, you name it, you put it away. Here's the reason for that. Number one, you won't have 8 million untitled documents. You're modeling for your teachers what you want them to teach their students, because they have 850 million untitled documents. I know, I taught them for years, right? They can't find a damn thing because they never put a name on it. They always put the title first, name afterwards, click in the box, put it away in the folder it belongs. Just do it. It's like, I can do it in under 10 seconds now. This is a new habit for me. And I mean new, like within the last year and a half. I do it for everything, drives everybody crazy, but it makes my life so much easier. Okay, next one.
Virginia, can you I just want a second look at it. Can you just go back into one of the folders and then make something for me just so I can see that one more time?
Yep. So I'm in my 26/7 folder. If I come in here and build, I don't want, sorry. No, I didn't want that, but we'll just delete that. That can just go in the garbage. Thank you. Move to the trash, right? I'm going to make a new file. It's automatically put away. Now I just have to name it.
And that. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. See, it'll put a star next to it when it's got a name on it up there. So that's one of the things. It's just one of those habits I've gotten kind of used to doing. All right, next one. So let me continue down this road. So we go to conferences, we're in a training, whatever. Someone shares a document. You need to stop yourself and say, do I really need it? Like this one, do I really need it? If you do, you're going to, yes, you're going to make a copy. You're going to go file, make a copy, and you're going to put it where? In your collected folder. You're going to take the name off of it because it's going to be called copy of whatever this training is, 18 clean up in Aisle1. That's today's folder. So if you make a copy, if you go file, make a copy, it will automatically just go somewhere. Just put it in your collected folder. Trust me, it's so much easier. You know, if you want to be like, ooh, KVB, right? Or whatever you want to do, or you want to put a date on it or whatever, all of those things help you. Just think through that process. Next thing, think before you make a copy. So this is, I don't have the people in the room that probably need to hear this more than others. Secretaries, this is a big one. If it's shared with you, it's there for a reason. It's collaboration. If you make your own copy, you're breaking the collaboration, right? You're not collaborating. If you make your own copy, it's yours because you've basically stole it. You've made a copy and you're not collaborating. So some people love this. Some people hate this, but think before you make a copy. Do you really need your own copy? Somebody told me the other day, well, I go in and I make my own copy and then I make the changes. I said, yeah, that's great, except nobody else can see that you made those changes, girl, because you got your own copy now, right? So if you want a copy for reference, you will make the copy. You will call it reference only and then the title, or let the title go and say reference only, or do not no changes made, or put a date on it when you took it. All right. All of those things. I know that's a little bit of like, oh God, that's hard. Okay. Learn how to name your documents better. I bet none of you are good at this, right? Or maybe some of you are really good at this, right? Dates is a great idea. You will see in my folders, and I'm going to go back out here to my drive. My folders are numbered because this is the order that things happen in. Okay. This was the first training of the year. This is today. This is tomorrow. This is Friday. These are next week, right? I know what they are, right? I know what they are. Sometimes I put a date on the end of them. So this is new teacher orientation that I have to go for CRB. So this is 8/31. So I just put a date in there. I use dots instead of slashes. They take up less room. I also don't write out dates like July 4th because that takes up more room. So I'm trying to keep the names as short as I can, right? I'm just trying to keep those simple. If I make something that goes with this training, it gets the same name as the folder. Oh, right? So I'm not telling you to rebuild the world, but I might be, right? If I was going to have a Google form for just this, you know what I'd probably call it? Clean up in Aisle1, because then I know they all go together. Now, some people would get weirded out by that because they got 3 documents that are the same thing, except you now know that this one's a slide and this one's a doc and one would be a form, right? But man, in a lot of ways, it's a lot easier to keep track of those things if they're all the same name. So think about that for your kids. If you're doing a unit on American Revolution and it's unit 4, it can be AM Rev.4. And then what it is, it's the quiz, it's the notes, it's the slides, right? Think We want to think smarter. Create your own naming convention. Does not matter. When I was teaching, mine were I had the grade level first, and then I did a dot. I did the standard because I was weird. I did a dot, and I did what I was teaching. A dot, and then I put the month. Yep, that was back in 2015. I was a good namer. Wasn't a good organizer, but I was a good namer. So just keep that in mind. That's a almost break you kind of things. So now it's thinking about pre-planning for your new school year. Think about those documents you'll use a lot, right? Is it a document that you used in 25, 26? Do you want to make a new one? Do you want to make a copy, make a new one for the 26, 27 folder? Or do you just want to pull it over? Or is it time to revamp it? Is it time to make a copy and to redo it? I have a spreadsheet that I use when I'm tech integrating that I loved last year. I'm just not even going to make a copy of it. I'm going to make a new tab of it, put the tab down at the bottom, move it over, use the same document for the second year, and just move it into this year's folder. Okay, just think how you're going to do that. You can make a copy and put it away. See what I'm saying? Get this? Are you getting this concept here? Put it away. Put it away. Okay, here's my big tips when you're learning to like clean your drive. Learn that power of the right click. Super helpful because it's just quick. Color code everything, and I mean absolutely everything. If you can color code it, just do it. It's a little trick that could also be helpful. I want to see a little trick. Did you know if I was teaching, first of all, that has to be bold. If I was teaching and this was my first period class, so if I say this was a unit that I was teaching with my kids, I would come into my documents and I would page set up and I would change the colors of my kids' documents. Because I would have, if I had 3 preps of the same thing, they're sometimes hard to keep track of. I would put them, so I used to use rainbow order. I would have a red class, a yellow class, an orange class, and a yellow class. Because I color code everything. It's almost to the detriment of other people. But in my music room, my kids were polka dots and they were rainbow. So my pre-K was black. My kindergartners were red. My first graders were orange. My second graders were yellow. So when they got a dot, I put a dot on it with a color and I knew what color it was. Their vocabulary on the wall, on the word wall, they were all together. It was just their color. I couldn't do it in Microsoft, but their headers were that color. I made the borders that color, right? I did everything. Now I would put a page color on the background. So I would know what class that went to. That's because that's annoying sometimes, right? You might have 3 Joe Smiths. Maybe you don't. Maybe, but you might have 3 Joes because they never remember to put their name on it. If the background of the page is colored, it could be easier. Just little tidbit, okay? Use list view when you want to see the date or the size or the circle I. I'm way more about the circle I. I'm coming back to the old stuff. Delete the old stuff. Older than 3 to 4 years, delete it. Boy, I'm even meaner here. I usually say 5, right? Pre-COVID, for the love of God, get rid of that. You don't need that anymore. COVID, you see that one? Delete, delete, delete. Right? Nothing. I just went through and deleted all of my Google trainings from 22, 23, because I don't need them anymore. There's nothing in there that's even valuable because there's, I mean, maybe concepts, but not anything big, right? Because everything else, like screenshots have changed, icons have changed, everything would be different, right? Look at it and decide if you need it. If you need it or you're not sure, it can go into that unsure folder. If you want to keep it, put it into the S2S or unsure or archive it. Looking for multiples. This is hard. It's hard in my drive right now because I'm clean. And that is not always been the case. Okay, this is a good folder. This is how I look for multiples. I go like this. I click it like this. I come down into my folders and I start to look if I have two names that are the same, because it happens, right? I could also tell it to look for all of the software across my entire drive, right? And sort like this. And then I'm gonna, so they're in order. And then I just start looking down to make sure I don't have any that are exactly the same. Like this one, this is a copy. I don't really need a copy. I could just throw that out. So, and I would do this. I would just click and drag it over and delete it that way. Okay. So search for doubles because it happens and it happens pretty easily. That's one of the big things. So my big tips to you right now, because I can't believe this, I'm actually gonna be done. I really have time for questions. You want to make your folders. You want to like do your pre-sort, like be energetic, like set a goal for the end of the week to at least have your folders made, right? This is a great rainy day activity. It doesn't take long. And 15 minutes is literally all you need. One of my last things would be make sure that you somehow put time into your schedule, if not weekly, oh, how dare I say that, monthly to clean. Friday afternoons when you got no gumption to do anything else is a really good day. Another really good day is a day that you typically have a staff meeting. So if your staff meetings are the first Monday of every month, do it the second Monday of every month. So you put it and actually add it to your calendar. And I mean that. Go into your calendar and give yourself a repeating event for it, maybe bi-weekly to start and or monthly to clean your drive, clean Google Drive. You only need 15 minutes because it will start to clean up. And all of a sudden you're going to start to get good habits. You're going to be like, oh, I need to put that away. I need to put that away. I need to put that away, right? Cleaning now will help you later on. And I know that seems brutal, but that is the reality. And it's not an easy task and it takes time. I didn't clean my Google Drive in a week. Okay. It took me a couple weeks. I did it in 2-hour increments because that was the summer I was not so busy. This summer, it's not so much. Now I clean monthly for 15 minutes and I clean both drives, by the way, in 15 minutes, both of them because I keep them because I've built those habits up. And those are habits that I've built over time. You saw how ugly it was at the beginning. It is what it is, right? We all, if you're coming tomorrow for Gmail, I'm sorry, because mail is also bad for people, right? But it's just, it is what it is, and it takes time, and it's okay. Take the time for yourself, clean yourself up, but start your year right. Have a 26, 27 folder that you can build in, put your subfolders in there, have your big folders on the outside, and work your way backwards. You'll get there. And if you only ever have a 26, 27 going forward and a 25, 26, I'm going to count that as a win for you because at least you started that process and you can move on. Future, make it, name it, put it away. Okay. Questions? Anybody got any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have, oh my God. So I just, when you were, I just went
Oh my
in,
God.
yeah, I went into my list. I put the list view instead of the grid for a minute, and I did the advanced search of all of my documents in my drive that are called Untitled because I never titled them. Like it just went on and on and on. And I think I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm just going to delete them because if
I
I
love
didn't,
you for that.
I can't imagine how many are in there because it just kept refreshing as I scroll down, refreshing as I scroll down. So there's probably hundreds.
Nicole, you're not the only one.
Have
You're
to.
just the only one brave enough to tell me that because I can
I'm gonna have
guarantee it.
to because if I didn't take the time to title it, then it's my fault. So wish me luck.
Good job. Yeah, you're good. Right. It's, you know what? In this case, you probably can make it so fast that you don't need a new one. You don't need them anyway.
Yeah, I don't. And I don't even know what's in them. I couldn't even, like, I'm curious. So I just wonder, is there a way to find out, just because it's my own brain, my own stupidity, to find out how many of those untitled things I have?
Yeah, if you go over them and you highlight them, let me go back here. I think if you come back like this, once you have them in list form, I think it used to tell you. It might not be perfect. Let me see if I can make it happen. If I go like this, will it tell me how many? Yeah, see how it says 12 selected?
Okay.
Yeah, good question.
And
All
you just
right.
scroll and then go all the way down to the end and hit
Oh yeah,
control
you
again.
can, and you can do them in chunks, because at some point, if it's still refreshing, you can throw them out in chunks. You can throw them out 100 at a time, right? Or you could just like come up, select all, delete. You could come up and like, yeah, it'll show you, right? Yeah, it's okay. That's
So,
being a big brave dog, as I like to
yeah,
say. If anybody
I'm
gets
already
that
at
Rugrats reference.
I'm already at 220 and it's still refreshing.
I love it. Can you imagine what your kids are like? All right. Thank you, my friends. We're not done super early, but I'll stick out. I'll stick around if there's any more questions. I know Trisha's going to stay because I got to ask her a couple things. And then, but thank you so much. Hope this was helpful. I will mark attendance today. Yesterday, I got the training out in the morning. I was pretty impressed with Webex. It really popped around and I got stuff right out. If you're looking for something training wise, please, Diane, you can get help with Frontline at some point. Diane, in the bottom of my email, there's a thing where you can schedule time with me. Just go in and schedule a time with me. Okay, you get access to my calendar. Go right in there, schedule 30 minutes, and we'll go through and fix your Frontline.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can you
Yeah.
share that slide deck from the Frontline one that I forgot? I wasn't able to go to it.
No, it's all right. I'll get it to you. You're on my list for today. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. I'll do attendance today and everybody will be set, and I'll send everything out later today. If you want something upcoming, fill out the Google form and let me know. That's where I get my ideas. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.